This presentation is based on data use in education and more specifically the principles for effective use of data to inform practice. Articles involved in the literature include an article by Jacobs, Gregory Hoppel and Yondel Hoppe, an article by Schildkamp and Cooper, and presentations from the 2009 research conference. A number of studies by Wayman and Associates are also included, with his research based on data-based decision making. While these are the main articles included in the literature review, there are a number of other studies which are also used to gain greater insights into the principles of effective data use. The use of data and accountability are driving forces behind educational reforms worldwide. Mandnich discusses America's No Child Left Behind Act in 2001. It created a move towards standard-based education and the introduction of high-stakes testing. However, there have been some negative byproducts identified from this approach, including focusing on punishing underachieving schools rather than rewarding successes. The Australian educational reform is only relatively new, so the full impact of it is yet to be known. The new reform, with accountability as driving force, is characterised by a national curriculum, national testing, and increased public reporting, as described by Duggan in 2009. It is clear there are a number of similarities between Australian and American educational reforms. Some research is beginning to emerge that there are possible negative impacts of this reform, including narrowing of the curriculum. A contrast to these reforms is Finland. The OECD explains the successful, long-established approach challenges the requirement for an emphasis on external testing to achieve outstanding results. Patrick Schneiden, a presenter at the 2009 ACER Research Conference, discussed how the successful Finnish education system does not use national standardised tests as they promote inequality. Rather, he explains that teachers are given greater autonomy in regards to creating assessments which continuously assess student progress. The OECD explains there is evidence of improvement in student achievement based on this reform, as the gap between the highest and lowest performing students continues to narrow. Research provides evidence that data is an important tool in designing and modifying professional practice. The study by Jacobs and Associates demonstrated that the impact on professional practice will be larger as teachers move along the data journey and become sophisticated users of data. Jacobs uses the example of teachers using reading level data to split students into reading groups, compared to teachers who are able to use a variety of data to create target groups across a number of stages. Research also indicates that there are some risks in teachers responding to the pressures of external testing, which impact their professional practice. Dolfer, Polisel, and Rice found that there was an emphasis on high-stakes data, creating a risk of narrowing of the curriculum, with 80% of their respondents in the study confirming they focus on certain teaching strategies in order to teach the test, and they place a lack of importance on subjects which are not covered in the test. The literature identified catering for students' individual needs as one of the main uses of data in schools. The ACES National School Improvement Tool in 2012 describes that outstanding schools in the differentiation of a curriculum for data use a variety of data to monitor progress, identify strengths and weaknesses of individual students, identify appropriate starting points for teaching, and personalise teaching and learning activities. A number of studies, including Wayman, Chu, Jimison, and Spikes, found that teachers are using data to focus mainly on students who are having difficulties in the classroom. In contrast, Jacob and Associates was one of the few studies which found that data was being used to meet the individual needs of students across the ability spectrum. Studies by Wayman, Braddon, and Rothman all discussed that data was most useful when it is received in a timely manner so that teaching and learning approaches can respond as soon as possible. In their experience, this is often difficult to achieve with the slow turnaround of high-stakes testing data. Wayman, Spring, Lemick, and Lur found that in schools that they studied, where principals deliberately applied strategies to support data use, such as explicit time set aside to analyse data, fostered positive attitudes, and allowed teachers to use data more effectively. Schildkamp and Cooper also found that the support received from leadership was a factor in either promoting or hindering data use. The teachers in this study believed that they were able to use data more effectively when they have supportive and encouraging leaders. 2 of the schools did not receive any support from their leader for data use, and this hindered the process. Distributed leadership is another important part of this principle. Jacobs and Associates stated that distributed leadership improved the support of teachers in their schools in using data. This approach allowed teachers to have an input in decisions about data use and to have shared expectations. In the literature, professional development, including teacher collaboration regarding data use and data management systems, is an important strategy for building people's skill and knowledge. Dantow, Park, and Walshstetter found that giving teachers time to collaborate with other staff members was a crucial factor in improving data use. A number of studies cited in Sturko and Gregson found that educators sharing their experiments, reflections, discussing and evaluating their approaches promoted the reinvention and the continuous development of practice. New Zealand Ministry of Education, however, found that there was little evidence that just providing time to use data is ineffective. Rather, Alton Lee stresses that it is the availability of appropriate and high quality professional learning and development on data use which is going to make the difference. Wayman in 2005 noted that while data management systems are an essential element of effective data use, without training of skills and knowledge, these will be ineffective. Wayman and Chu found that there should be professional development prior to the implementation of data systems, as well as the ongoing professional development as teachers use data more often. In regards to the selection of data management solutions, Wayman in 2012 outlines that educators need a system which is integrated, user-friendly, and easy to access. He also states that systems which are difficult to use or require teachers to access data from a number of systems are frustrating and can have a negative impact on the attitudes of teachers towards data. Dantow, Park, and Walshstetter described how the needs of educators will change as their data use becomes more sophisticated. Teachers in their study began with Excel and quickly had to move to systems which allowed for more complex data organisation. The New South Wales Smart Toolkit was discussed by Smith at the ACET 2009 research conference. This toolkit allows New South Wales teachers to organise and compare NAPLAN data in a number of ways. However, one downfall of the Smart Toolkit is given by Jacobs and Associates. They state that there needs to be a system which allows external and internal assessments to be integrated to give teachers a full understanding of students' achievement and needs. While this is not yet available using the Smart Toolkit, Smith says that this is currently being developed in further modules. So in summary, increased data use by teachers is inevitable in the policy environment which requires accountability at all levels. When data are used effectively to undertake and analyse assessments which lead to specific individualised learning programs, the benefits can be significant. Achieving those benefits depends on a number of conditions in the learning environment, such as leadership, quality of professional development, and the integrated data systems used.